today I'm going to take you through some alternatives to some of the frequently seen luxury and designer items. Hello, and a very warm welcome to today's video. Those of you who haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Nick, fab to have you here. Those who have seen my face before, thank you so much for coming back. I hope you're enjoying my videos. I try to put out videos 3 times a week on a range of different topics, anywhere from fashion to some slightly more personal topics. So if that sounds like something that you would enjoy, please do hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, like any of the videos that you enjoy. You will also find me on Instagram, so go and check me out there. Leave me comments. I love meeting new people and love having a conversation. So I'm all about living life loud, and what that means to me is being your authentic self, being proud to be you, just celebrating who you are as an individual, backing yourself in life. I think that's the most important thing. So today's video, actually quickly, I had the best weekend. I was at Pride, there was a Pride event near where I live. I had the best day. It was a nice opportunity to get dressed up, wear something that was a little bit more flamboyant. Not that I ever need an excuse to do that, but I had the best day. I had such a laugh with my friends. It was honestly fabulous. So that was really good fun. Just a nice opportunity to celebrate being who you are. Love it. Anyway, today's video, I'm going to share with you some alternatives to some frequently seen items that, I think a lot of individuals have within the luxury space. And that's not to say that the original item is a bad item whatsoever. Some of these I actually love, and some of them I'm looking at buying. But I think if you're looking for something that's a little bit different, that offers you a similar thing, a similar feature, but is a little bit less frequently seen, a little bit different, offers a slightly different flavour, then I think these could be some really nice items. I have 5 to take you through in total, and let's get started. Okay, so an item that I love, not particularly in this size, but I absolutely love this item, it is the Louis Vuitton Speedy. Now, I think the Speedy is a fabulous bag. I think it's versatile. I love it in the monogram. I think it's a very classic silhouette. I think it's a very easy bag to use. I just think that it's something that you can use all day, not have to worry too much about it. The canvas is really durable. It adds a little pop of something with the monogram if you particularly go for it in a monogram, but you could also get it in a slightly more subtle version if you went for example, an emprunt version. However, the alternative that I saw, and this is if you are someone who likes a little bit of a logo, a little bit of a monogram, and this is the MCM Soft Berlin Tote in the medium size. Now, this isn't a direct like for like because it is not an identical shape. However, I think it is still an incredibly classic shape. I think it's a very easy shape to carry. I think the monogramming of MCM is really cool. I think the subtlety of it as well with the colourway is really lovely. This is a bag that I think you would notice, but you hadn't seen it very regularly. You'd know that, that's a really cool bag. That's a really nice bag. I think MCM is also slightly edgier than, for example, Louis Vuitton, and it is a less frequently seen monogram. I just think this is a really great bag. I think it offers everything that the Speedy offers at a similar price point. And I think it would be really easy to carry. I like it a lot. I think it's a really fun bag. Yeah, big fan of this one. Okay, and next up, this is one of my favourite shoes, and you frequently see it on the basic list that people call these, but this is the Christian Louboutin Soke. I love the Louboutin Soke. I think it's beautiful. I think particularly black patent leather with the red sole, an absolute pop. The heel itself is sexy beyond belief. I've heard they're absolute agony to walk in. Never tried to walk in them myself, but I've heard they're agony, but they look absolutely stunning. They do these in a beautiful range of colours. They often bring out the Socate in variations, but the one that I'm going to do the comparison to today is the black, whether that be black leather or black patent, whatever you choose to go for. Now, the shoe that I would say is a more subtle version, but offers the exact same silhouette, the exact same features, and is at a very similar price point, is the Jimmy Choo Anouk. I think it's the Anouk. I think that's how you pronounce it, Anouk. It is a beautiful 120mm heel. Jimmy Choo know how to design the silhouette of a shoe It will elongate your leg. It is in a beautiful, beautiful leather. Very, very subtle, very high, very sexy. A stunning, stunning shoe. I think the direct comparisons of these, it's incredibly, incredibly similar, particularly with that pointed toe, that very skinny stiletto. I think that it's not a reasonable price point for shoes, because I think any of these are incredibly expensive when it comes to shoes. However, I think the fact that it's comparable to Louboutin, it's a good place to start. And I think Jimmy Choo caters to a slightly different customer than Louboutin. Jimmy Choo is slightly more subtle, particularly if you don't go for the crystal encrusted shoes. They do a lot of beautiful work with crystal. If you go for just one of their more simple, one of their more elegant, sophisticated pumps. Now, although this isn't technically on my list, you could also, let's say, rather than a Tote, you're looking at something like a Bulgari because you prefer the 100mm heel. You could also look at a BB pump from Jimmy Choo. As a comparison, I believe the BB is a 105mm heel. But I think they do it in various sizes, but that would also be a similar comparison. So if you were interested in the Tote and Pigalle, but the red sole doesn't do it for you, maybe you find it a bit showy, maybe you think that Louboutin's a little bit played out, I don't, but a lot of people do. So if you think that, then maybe the Anouk and the BB could be the two derivatives that would work better for you and better for your wardrobe. Now let's do some jewellery, and this again is an item that I really, really love, but I think that you do see them quite frequently, and I think we have started to move away from them slightly, and this is the Hermes Click H bracelet. I think they're lovely. I think they're made out of enamel, which is always really nice to see. The quality of them looks really good. They seem to wear quite well as well. I do know people with them. I don't own one myself. I have been looking at getting one, but I have seen people with them who have had them for quite a long time. They wear as metal wears, but I think that on the whole, they hold up quite well. They do them in a nice range of colours. The enamel can often be different colours, and then you can get them silver, you can get them in rose gold, you can get them in gold. So I think it's nice to have that level of variation. And they sit at, I believe it's around £550 to £600, roughly, is what you're looking at in terms of a price point. However, something that is branded through understanding the luxury brand, but you wouldn't necessarily know it other than the fact that it's a beautiful piece of jewellery without knowing the brand itself, would be the Bulgari Sepenti Forever bracelet. And this comes in at around £350, so better value. It's a little bit more of a cuff, I would say, than a bracelet, because I don't believe it connects. So it's a little bit more like a cuff, but I think this is absolutely beautiful. They do it in the most stunning colour. I love as well the serpent head that Bulgari have as part of their logo. I think this would be a standout piece on your wrist. It isn't one that I could see myself stacking. If I was going to wear this, I think this would be a standalone piece, because I think the colour really pops. I think the style of it is designed to be standalone, but I do believe that it's a piece that you would look at and think that is a beautiful, beautiful bracelet. Someone who understands luxury and knows the brands and knows their signatures would know that's Bulgari. However, I think that if you didn't, you would just know it was beautiful. And that's sometimes what these pieces can be about. It's not about necessarily screaming where they're from. It's just about acknowledging the fact they're beautiful pieces, they're incredibly well made, and we're very lucky to be in a place where we own certain items. So I think that is a beautiful piece. I was looking at it thinking, oh, that would suit me really well. That's the problem with doing videos like this, is that quite often you look and you think, yeah, I could probably enjoy that. It's like shopping without having the budget to shop. Like, I mean, I'd probably buy everything on this list if I could, but that's not the life we lead. But anyway, I think that's an absolutely beautiful piece, well worth looking into, highly, highly recommend. Next up, and this is a bag that you see a huge amount on social media, but I don't see it a huge amount in the flesh, and I think this is from where I've heard reviews of it, and it gets a mixed bag. it's a bag, but a mixed bag of reviews. And this is the Dior Book Tote. I think the Dior Book Tote is incredibly chic. I think it's a really lovely piece. I love the new designs that they brought it out in as well. I think the Classic Oblique is great, but then I do love some of the more embroidered versions, some of the brighter colours and the seasonal prints, and absolutely stunning. Where I've heard about this is that it gets very heavy and that it also sags, which for shoppers like that isn't actually all that surprising. I'm not thrown off by that, to be honest. I think that that's to be expected, and you can put a base shaper or an organiser of some capacity in a bag like that to try and help it retain a little bit of its structure. But I think going in with shoppers like that, you know that you might end up with a little bit of that happening. My alternative for this, and this is from a brand that I don't see discussed very often, particularly on YouTube. I see a lot of it on social media. It's a very showy brand, I will warn you now. This is the Philip Pline Leather Monogram Tote. I was really drawn to this. I like Philip Pline's designs anyway. I like how elaborate they are. I like the creativity of some of them. He does some beautiful, beautiful work with crystal. In a video that I did previously where I was talking about kind of under the radar bags that you don't really see discussed very often, that he had a beautiful crystal embellished flat bag that I thought was absolutely stunning. But this piece I think is beautiful. I think it's fun. I think it is not subtle, but I like the monochrome look to it. I think it looks a little bit more structured. It will be quite heavy because it's a large bag and it's leather, so that will naturally make it a little bit more heavy, but I also think it will give it a little bit more structure than the Dior Book Tote, and you don't see a huge amount of individuals with Philip Pline. That might be because maybe you don't gravitate towards that brand. Absolutely fine. This is just an option. You know, Fendi do shoppers that are similar to the book totes. So this is just one that I happened to see that I thought was really cool, that I thought was good fun, was from a brand that you don't hear a huge amount about, when particularly with unboxings and things like that. There might be reasons for that, I don't know, but I do like this piece, and I think it's a nice way of integrating a different monogram, a different logo into your collection. I think this would be a great travel bag. You'd have to be a little bit careful with the leather because of the colour of it. You could get colour transfer on it if you were using it for travel. That on a plane, you could potentially find issues with that. But of course, you know, if you look after your pieces and you make sure that maybe after using them, you give them a good wipe down, maybe a leather cleaner, something like that, then you shouldn't run into too many issues. So I think this is a really interesting alternative to the Dior. Finally, a piece that just accentuates the silhouette. Powerful. This is a powerful item. This is the Baumann Blazer. Love this jacket. I think this silhouette that it creates is absolutely stunning. I love the military nature of it, the powerful shoulders, how it cuts, the buttons, the hardware on it. I just think this jacket screams boss. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I think that it is really become a classic, and a classic in terms of tailoring and ready-to-wear items, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Well-deserved spot. Frequently seen, but for a reason. Like I said, all of these items that I've said we frequently see them, there's a reason you frequently see them, and I don't think that's a reason to be put off them. So when people say, oh, I see so many never falls, because it's at a reasonable price point, it can fit a lot in it, and Louis Vuitton's a good brand. There you go, 3 good reasons to own it. Who cares if the person sat next to you also has it? I don't give a damn about any of that stuff, but some people do, and I appreciate that. But I think the Baumann Blazer, absolutely stunning. And I love seeing people wear this, because I do. I think it gives them such a... I just love the silhouette that it carves. However, a piece that I saw, which, I mean, it was very expensive, but I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and it gave a very similar silhouette. It was speaking to me in the same way that the Baumann Blazer would speak to me, and this is the Givenchy Jacket with laser cuts, The Givenchy Jacket with graphic cuts. Again, I really liked the silhouette that this created. I liked the fact that the cuts were very simple within it, so it gave you little peaks of flash, but in a very sophisticated way, in a very modern way. It was still quite a mature look, but it was youthful at the same time. I just thought this was a really lovely take on a blazer, on a jacket. I think you could wear this with something underneath should you wish to. You didn't have to wear something underneath if you didn't want to. I think this would look great with a skirt. This would look great with trousers. I think you could wear it with white jeans. It could be dressed up, it could be dressed down. I really liked this. I thought this was a very powerful silhouette that was being created. I like anything that's got a little bit of a cutout. Nothing too extreme, but I think having a little bit of a cutout, it just adds a slightly different flavour to the overall look. It adds a playfulness to the look as well, because otherwise dark jackets and dark blazers can be very serious. The Baumann Blazer, for example, that's a serious jacket. Like I said, it's a powerful look. That's what it's conveying. This too is conveying power. However, because it has those cutouts, it's got a slightly more youthful twist to it. I think it's a really lovely jacket. I mean, it would have to be for the price point of it. Woo! I mean, I know Givenchy is a top tier brand, but whoo, that's a lot of money that you're spending on a jacket. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's a really lovely alternative. Anyway guys, that is it from me for today. Those are kind of 5 alternatives. Actually, I threw in a 6, didn't I? Kind of. But sort of alternatives to some of the more frequently seen items that we have. Once again, to caveat, I'm not saying that the frequently seen items are bad in any way. I don't believe that in the slightest. I just think that sometimes if you want something a little bit different, there are options out there. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of insight into what I think could work. Gives you the same features, gives you the same silhouettes, gives you the same look potentially, but from maybe a slightly different brand, a slightly different price point, lots of different reasons as to why you might go for something slightly different if that suits your style, if that suits your budget. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching, love chatting with you and look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care, bye.